We are honored to have with us tonight a gentleman who serves as the personal physician to the Dalai Lama and is the founder of the Altruism in Medicine Institute. The mission of the Institute is to increase compassion and resilience among healthcare professionals and their patients, and to address systemic issues of racism and equity. To learn more about him, please read his full bio in tonight's program. Helping us learn to cultivate resilience, compassion, and mindfulness. Please welcome Dr. Barry Kerzin.
Good evening. Welcome to this event. The topic of the lecture is Cultivating Resilience, Compassion, and Mindfulness. 2020 was a difficult year, and 2021 is starting out the same. Healthcare professionals on the front lines, they're exhausted. Some have died, many are sick, and almost all of them are emotionally burnt out. When we're disillusioned and hopeless, suspicion takes over. Anger explodes. Turbulence on the outside manifests as turbulence on the inside. More than ever, we need to pull together to regain hope. Resilience and compassion provide a way forward. The loneliest moment in someone's life is when they're watching their whole world fall apart, and all they can do is stare blankly. F. Scott Fitzgerald. We all have negative emotions. With those negative emotions comes this precious opportunity to work on those negative emotions. We can learn how to transform anger into tolerance without suppressing it. We can learn how to transform jealousy into its positive opposite, appreciation. And we can learn how to transform arrogance into humility. This whole field we call emotional hygiene. Let me give you an example. Anger, when it's full blown, we can't do anything about it. We're stuck. So the real key to transforming without suppressing anger is to recognize it early. So we have to look inside in the present moment, that's mindfulness, and see what our thoughts and feelings and sensations are. When we notice pre-anger stuff, like feeling irritable, feeling frustrated, the heart kind of going and pounding, going fast, tachycardia, breathing fast, maybe tension, the muscles of the neck, the jaw, the body. Tell yourself, oh, I might be getting angry. And then you can apply this method. You can imagine that those pre-anger signs and symptoms, irritability, fast heartbeat, etc., become a cloud in the sky way over there. And that cloud drifts. And as it drifts, it dissipates and completely dissolves along with your pre-anger. Now, this is guaranteed not to work the first time. We are so ingrained with this deeply ingrained habit of anger since our childhood, we can't overturn it in 1 or 2 days. But if we're persistent and we do this again and again and again, we will begin to whittle down, reduce, and eventually eliminate our anger. Similarly, we can transform our jealousy into appreciation. Here, it's more a matter of recognition. Generally, jealousy is under the radar. We don't notice it. So being mindful, being in the present moment, observing inside our thoughts and feelings, when we recognize jealousy, then just tell ourselves, don't want to go there anymore. Let's go to appreciation. And it's much easier to flip than is anger. Arrogance we can transform into humility. When we notice that we're feeling arrogant, better than others, smarter than others, remember it's a prison. We lose all of our friends, we become very lonely, and we don't grow. We kind of die on the vine. So this whole field, again, as I've mentioned, is called emotional hygiene. Now, healthy self-confidence is a way to train our minds and hearts to not put anybody down, not put ourselves down, not put the other person down. This is a very healthy and happy way to thrive. Now, meditation, concentration meditation, has many benefits. And these are some of the benefits. First, a focused attention. That is less and eventually no distraction. Second, a calm mind. And third, enhanced learning because our mind is more focused and calm. And we're able to have a broader perspective because there's less chatter, there's less clutter. And because of this broader perspective and better learning, we can make better decisions. And as a result of that, many professional groups are turning to meditation, such as professional athletes, business leaders and business managers, people in education, and in all walks of life. Even some politicians are turning to mindfulness, particularly in the UK, where the movement is stronger, but starting to come to the United States. We sure need more of that. Also, improved health. That includes both our physical as well as our mental health. And I'll show you a few slides about that. This is 3 third-grade classes in Tacoma, Washington, outside of Seattle, where the principal and most of the teachers were into mindfulness training, into teaching the children about sharing and kindness. These were amazing kids, about 8 years old. We spent nearly a day together. It's even cool to meditate. You can meditate with your dark glasses. Now, this is a study that was done about 10 years ago at the University of Wisconsin, Madison, in which they asked the question, are the brains of long-term meditators the same or different from other people? And I'm just coming out of over 2 hours in the fMRI, Functional Magnetic Resonance Imaging Scanner. And it's really loud. It goes bam, 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 bam. But they put headphones on us, but we could still hear. It was very noisy. Nevertheless, I was able to meditate most of the time in the scanner. And so that smile on my face is genuine. On my left is the chief investigator, Antoine Lutz, who's now gone back to his host country, France, and set up a neuroscience lab in Lyon. On the right is Andy Francis at Harvard Medical School, has completed his program and is now doing neuroscience research. So what they found was that the prefrontal cortex, the area underneath your forehead, which you can see here in kind of orange yellow color, was larger in the long-term meditators compared to the other people. Not only was it larger, but looking at blood flow studies, there was more activity in the prefrontal cortex. So what does that mean? Well, the prefrontal cortex, or PFC, is where we have the highest level of our thinking or cognition. That area is called the Executive Network Center. And what it does is it coordinates planning, reasoning, imagination, creativity, a sense of who we are, although not identity, improved interpersonal skills, and compassion. So presumably long-term meditators are enhanced in these qualities. They also did electroencephalography EEG, and what they found was this: bursts of gamma waves. Gamma waves are high amplitude with a short frequency, so they come quick on the graph, and they're high, they're big. And when you get a burst of them, it looks like a big paintbrush stroke. And what you see here is actually real findings from the cortex. Initially, they thought maybe meditators were intense and their jaw, their scalp muscles were kind of clenched, but they've ruled that out. It's not true. This is actually coming from the cortex. What does it mean? Gamma wave bursts reflect the number of neurons firing in synchrony, and hence large-scale coordination over all the neural networks over the whole cortex. Now, this is quite amazing. In the neurology textbooks, they talk about maybe a millimeter or less is where neurons can maybe interact in the cortex. But now this research, which has been published in the best peer-reviewed journals, such as PNAS, the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, in Science, in Nature, many publications of their research, has showed that this now represents a pan-cortical synchrony and coordination. Now I'd like to show you some research on depression. All the people in this research were people that suffer from depression. This study went out 600 days, nearly 2 years, and there were 3 groups. The first group received training in meditation. That's the red on your slide. Mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, a form of concentration, focused meditation. The second group in blue here, they received medication, the newest form, SSRI, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which increase the amount of the neurotransmitter serotonin in the brain, hence improving depression. And the third group in green, the placebo group, received neither intervention. What did they find? Well, they're measuring survivability, which means no recurrence of depression. And many of you know that depression tends to recur in our lifetimes. So survivability means no recurrence of the depression. So you can see both the groups that received the training in meditation and the group that received the medication had about 75% survival. It means 75% of the people in nearly 2 years did not have a recurrence of their depression. In the third group, the placebo was the opposite. There was about 20% survival. So about 80% of them who received no intervention, they had a recurrence of their depression. This is very good research. It's been replicated many times. This particular research comes out of the group from Oxford, Seagal, Teasdale, and Mark Williams. Excellent research. Now I want to show you a few slides to look at physical health, looking at our genetic system. So here we have on the left a chromosome. At the ends of the four ends of the chromosomes in yellow-orange are your telomeres. Telomeres are important because they confer longevity and also less chronic disease. On the right, in lavender, is the enzyme telomerase, which keeps the telomeres long. It gets rid of all the fragments of DNA in the chromosome in the telomere. With time, as we age, the telomerase enzyme reduces in quantity and thereby shortens the telomere. And that happens with aging. So I want you to watch now as I go through two slides where you'll see less telomerase and a shortening of the telomere. This is the normal aging process. Did you see it? Let's try it again. Watch closely. Both the telomerase and the telomeres got shorter, and therefore we lose our ability to live long and to have less chronic disease. But the good news is coming. Here's the good news. A group of people who were doing meditation, their telomerase was measured and found to be double that of those that were not meditating. The take-home message is meditation can increase our telomerase, make our telomeres longer, and confer longevity and less chronic disease. Now, this is early pilot research. We need more, but it's very good quality research. We all have superficial differences, gender, race, ethnicity, etc. But they're not very important. Deeply, we're all the same. We all want to be happy, and none of us want to hurt. Let me repeat that, because this is very important. We all want to be happy, and none of us want to hurt, even the animals. So every time we meet someone, please remember that she or he, just like me, just wants to be happy. Please write this down. I want you to make copies of it, put it all over the place wherever you spend time so that you can see it often. Read it, reflect on it, and practice it. It'll make your relationships with others more successful, more happy, closer. The boy and the dog, they're good friends. They have genuine friendship. Why? They trust each other. The boy could put his fingers in the dog's nose, no problem, because they have trust. Unconditional love. Unconditional love. This is a bunny. This is a piglet. Doesn't matter. It's just love. Unconditional love. This book came out in 2018, No Fear, No Death, The Transformative Power of Compassion. It's about many of the things that we talked about in this keynote address. And by the way, I'm the author. And this book, Nagarjuna's Wisdom, A Practitioner's Guide to the Middle Way, came out in 2019. It's a more technical book about the Buddhist wisdom of emptiness. You're welcome to have a look at it if you have some interest. And we are connected on social media and on the internet. We have a nonprofit group, which you know now is called Altruism in Medicine Institute. And our URL, our address for our website is altruismmedicine.org. We're on Facebook. A page has been written about us on Wikipedia. We have a LinkedIn page. We have an Instagram page. The first three are in my name, and the Instagram is AIMI Compassion, preceded by a hashtag. And we have a group in Japan called Human Values with an S Institute, and that's our website address. Thank you, and I've enjoyed being with you.